This may seem kind of odd for a lot of you that watch a lot of YouTube, but I actually use the products I recommend. Another StellaPro light, because I want 3-point lighting, and I love these that much. I use the two that I have all the time. I have spare batteries with them, of course, as always. But since I have 2 spare batteries, I thought, hey, why not get the studio version? Because it comes with other stuff that I will definitely use. And you know, if I have a spare battery, I can just use it on this and still have 1 extra spare. I know, confusing, but this is a great deal for the studio version because it's the same head as you get, you know, with the new battery and so forth. So obviously in the box you get the head. Now, I got to tell you a story about this. It's not a bad story in a sense, but when I started with StellaPro, you know, a few years ago, I approached them saying, you know, I really wanted to try these lights, and it was the CLX10 at the time, and they sent me 2 loaners. Now I know they have like ambassadors that they have and so forth, and you know, they get free lights. I don't get free lights. Anyway, so I did the review on the CLX10, and I liked the lights. They were bright, but you know, they were impractical for me because they were just a light. You know, it was not, and I wasn't really shooting LEDs that often because it just wasn't convenient for me, if you know what I mean. So I sent back the CLX10s, and you know, the person I was dealing with there, she said, oh, we have something coming, you know, really, really cool. It'll be out in a few months. And I said, I'd love to hear about it. So they sent me an NDA, and, you know, then she told me about it, and which was the Reflexes. And I was really excited about these. I said, please get me, you know, a loaner when you have them. Again, other photographers got free ones, but I didn't. I did get a loan, but it was months and months and months and months after. I'm talking, it was probably almost a year. And every time I asked, they're like, well, you're not the photographer, you know, that we want. We want like wedding photographers, which was strange to me. But we'll get to that in a minute, so just bear with me. So I'm like, okay, you know, and I was small at the time, don't get me wrong. But they finally did send me a unit or 2 to borrow. And I did a video on them, and I was just, I'm like, I like the lights. If you really know what you're doing with these lights, they're great because, you know, they had to be plugged into a power supply for them to be the full power. And if you use the battery, you know, there were 6,000 lumens versus 9,000. I thought, oh God, you know, like, and then at the bottom of the battery, which this doesn't come with a battery, but at the bottom of the battery, there was like this odd thing that you would have to use their bracket on. So you had to buy their bracket, which I thought was like ridiculous. So this time they fixed that. So when you get it's a 1/4 inch 20. But in this kit, let me get back to this kit. You get the 100-watt power supply, and their 100-watt power supply is really, really good. You get the bracket, which is extra with the, you know, with the battery powered one, and then you get the cord. So if you're going to use this light just for the studio plugged in, this is a great little deal. But if you have batteries, like I do, like I have spare batteries, this is a great deal because you get the 100-watt power supply, you know, to charge your batteries, and the bracket, the light, and I think this is the medium. Yeah, this is the medium. So, you know, it's a nice little kit for the price. And like I said, these are purchased. Here, this is my receipt, okay? I don't get these for free. They won't give them to me. Anyway. You know what I'm thinking, Stella. Anyway, the reason I'm doing this video today is to say, I love these things. I just purchased another one because I want 3-point lighting. I like them that much. And for portraits, there's times where I need constant light, okay? The key times are, you know, when you're doing corporate headshots and you're going to their location, there's going to be people that you can't use strobe on. I shoot events, I shoot backstage events, I shoot grip and grins, And a lot of the celebrities don't want a strobe, okay? They're just, because if they're doing a meet and greet, they're meeting and greeting so many people, they don't want a flash going off in their face every 5 seconds for 150 people, which really makes sense. So I was at an event with my daughter. I was not shooting it. And, you know, she wanted to meet Keanu Reeves. It was his band. And the photographer obviously didn't have an LED. All he had was a strobe with a modeling light on it. So he literally put the strobe and the modeling light in front of him low and just shined the modeling light and used that for the photos. Needless to say, the photos were absolutely positively horrible. And I feel so bad for people that get stuck with that kind of stuff when the photographer doesn't have the right equipment to do it, because they get horrible photos. My daughter's photos were not good. But what can you do? That's where this comes in. For me, if I'm doing a corporate event where they say, hey, you know, there's this person, this person, this person, it can't be around strobes, they can't use strobes, you know, whether it's a medical condition or it bothers them. These are fantastic for that. So as a hybrid light for that, this really comes in handy. I don't shoot much video, so I know they're pushing them for, you know, you can shoot video, you can shoot stills, and that's great, it's true. And I have used them for video here, but not professionally, just for my own use. But for me, the fact that I can do 3-point lighting now and go from strobe to constant with one flick, I mean, it's fantastic. And I can serve more people. And, you know, when I'm approaching a company now and saying, hey, listen, you know, if you have people that have issues with strobe, we can take care of that. This is when we're going to do that. This is how we're going to do that. So I can do the regular strobe in the beginning, and I can do constant later on in the day. It works perfect for me. Why would I do strobe and constant if I could just do constant? Because I'm doing it anyway. Because number one, power. I want that more power for this, for the strobe. Gives me a little bit more leeway. And battery life. You know, because I can get through an entire shoot of unlimited amount of people with strobe on this, like honestly. But if I'm using constant, you know, I may have to change it if I'm shooting a lot of people. So we're going to set up today just a quick headshot session. I'm not even a session, I'm just going to grab somebody to show you at the end. But I'm going to set up, you know, the different setups I can use with these. And the biggest thing I love about these is I can use umbrellas. You know, quick and easy umbrella, I'm done.
So before I start the video, and this is short, the shoot is short, I just wanted to show how to set up this bracket. A lot of people were asking me about it. It is pretty simple. Because we're so used to things just clicking in, you know, people were confused about it. But this doesn't click it, it just slides in, and you have to put the screw in to hold it. You know, I'm pretty sure they did this just, you know, for the secure hold on that bracket, you know, to the head. Remember, on the head itself, on the light head, that's where your umbrella holder is. You know, so if you're putting a large umbrella on there, you need a bracket that's going to hold, that's not just a click, you know, so it doesn't fall off. That's why they use the screw on this. It makes perfect sense. It didn't at first, but, you know, then after I threw some large umbrellas in these things and used them, I'm thinking, oh, wow, you know, thank God they use the set screw. Now, inside there, you can see the cords themselves match the heads. They didn't just buy third-party cords. These things fit in there very snugly, if that's a word. Anyway, they fit in there good because, you know, if you've ever used products like this, when they use third-party cords, they just grab any cord and say, okay, we'll use these for it. You understand that they break, they get loose, they damage the input, and these don't. They're like a solid fit, which I really, really appreciate on that. This on top of the light stand, that head is so lightweight, it is unbelievable. Like, it's kind of strange how lightweight it is for the power that it puts out. I mean, you have to remember, this is a 9,000 lumen light, 18,000 on a burst, and it is so lightweight, it's easy to carry. So, you know, for me, I always said, like, I can't use this at an event because, you know, the battery and the head together are like 2.5 pounds, where my strobe light is, my speed light is like 1.5 pounds. But if I threw the battery on my belt or in my bag and then just held up the head, that I can get away with, that I could do. Anyway, and umbrellas for this, like, umbrellas for headshots for me is everything because it's so easy to carry around. You can throw your light stands and your umbrellas all in one light stand bag and be ready to go. So, umbrellas are my key here. So I'm going to have the two umbrellas, main light, fill light, and then the back light. And again, this whole shoot is to say, okay, will this 3-point lighting system work for me with that backlight?
So this is the setup. I have the backlight, which I don't know how it's going to do. I've never tried a backlight with the StellaPro on a white backdrop. So definitely I want to see how that does at full power with this. Then I have my main light here, and I have a small umbrella, small deep white. And then I have the fill here, which is a medium deep white. So this should produce a really, really nice look.
So I got lucky. I was getting ready to go over to the salon and grab one of the girls, and then an old friend dropped in. And it's a funny story. This is one of the wives of one of the Hall of Fame hockey players from Penguins that when I used to shoot there. I shot there for years and years and years, and you create friendships with the families, with the players, and you end up shooting their kids, their families, their events. Anyway, she still stops in and says hello, which is always great to see her. So I just said, by the way, since you're here, and we get to catch up and talk about old times and new times and our kids, the same old story. But it was great seeing her, and she was the perfect subject for this. I was thrilled the way the strobe part of the hybrid worked on this. Now I know, like, whatever my settings are going to be, I believe that they were ISO 200. I was at f4, 1/60th of a second. It worked perfectly for me. All I had to do was drop down to f3.5, give or take, if I went into constant mode light, and I would get the same results. So this is going to work perfect for me. Being able to shoot strobe and then immediately go to constant light for those who can't, be around strobe is such a positive thing for marketing and for the people themselves. Anyway, just wanted to show you this shoot. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them below.